Aloha kako, aloha e nahoa ma keia pai aina nei, makahonua. So excited to see our friends joining us here on Zoom. And we're gonna be going live soon on Facebook. I actually just saw it pop up. Yay. We're really excited for today's show. I'm always excited about my show, about bringing Lei Ānuenue to all of you. It's always fun and we're always learning something new. That's what I love about having these sessions with all our friends and all our hoaloha. And with all of you, with all of the ohana that are out there, we're just really excited for this opportunity to share and to just be a part of your day. So if you're joining us on Facebook, we're gonna humbly ask you to click on that share button because we want all our friends to come and check it out. So you just gotta click on share and you may be joining us on different Facebook feeds. So whichever one you're watching, awesome. Just click on share and we wanna fill the room and we wanna invite everybody. You can also share the Zoom link to all your friends and tell them to come and join us. We love seeing interaction, whether it's on the Zoom chat or even on our Kanayo Kana Facebook page or Hawaii Nui Akea Facebook page. So we're gonna get started in just about Elua Minuke. Elua Minuke. Oh, and if you do have lāʻī outside and you wanna follow along, go grab like umi lāʻī, 10 tea leaves, and go get them. Go get one scissors and come sit down with us because we're gonna be doing not just Lei Pua Kenikeni. Look, I go run outside a little while ago, and that's all I had. I had enough to make a choker, so I had makeup because I wanted to have a beautiful Lei Pua Kenikeni today. And so if you have tea leaves, go quick, you still get time. Go grab umi lāʻī. Quick. Green, maybe red, maybe yellow. They're all really pretty and they're all very useful and versatile, and we use them in all different ways. So if you can go outside and get some lāʻī, and if you can get upa, he upa keia, upa, then you can jump in and you can follow along because we're gonna have a good time making Lei Pua Kenikeni and learning some tips and tricks about that. And then we'll also be learning more about making lei lāʻī. And there's always, even myself as a lei maker, I'm excited to learn because just like when our Tita Mehana was sharing about her experiences with Tutu Amelia Bailey, and we always learn different things. Like I didn't know, I never tried it, and I will next time, that at the ending, she flips it the different way, the fern, and then ties it off. I usually will fill it up with a whole bunch of palapalai, but I never flipped it. So that was a great tip, Mehana. And I know we're gonna be learning way more tips today. So awesome. I see all of you, and see people are getting ma'a already. They're saying aloha and where they're coming in from. I love it. So wakani no kahola, ho'omau a holomua kako. So we're gonna get started. Yes. So some of you have already started, but let's ho'omau. Tell us where you are tuning in from. We love to know which Aina, where are you located? Put them in the Zoom chat, put them in the Facebook chat. Let's see, I saw people. Oh, Palala's joining us from Wainiha, Kauai. Aloha eka Ohana Harada, Malayla. We have Ohana joining us from Orange County, California. Papa Kolea, Kern River Valley, California. Aloha no. Let's see, Orchard, Washington, from Denver, from Moanalua, Kaneohe, Kaohe Mahamakua, Pa'auhau, tuning in from Moanalua, and that's the Ohana Bryce. Let's see, we got more joining us from Tennessee. Oh, Maika Iloa. We got from here in our little Pico to Mavaho o Kapiko. So here in our Hawaii, where we like to say, this is the Pico o Kahonua. And then just even going out and beyond. Liliha, Ohana joining us from Liliha. We also have Ohana joining us from Mo'oloa, Maui, Pa'awilo, Florida. Woo! Maika Iloa, Ho'omau kako. And you can continue to introduce yourselves there. So I wanted to just get a sense. Are you making a lei this week? Let me know. 1 in the chat if it's a I or yes. 2 if it's a ole, I just do not know how, and that's why I'm here. And put a ekolu, a 3 in the chat if oyapaha, maybe. So let me know. Are you hoping to make a lei this week? Yeah, I see some oyapaha, oyapaha. I think after today's session, you're gonna be like, e kuile, e haku, e vili. So yes, I see some ones in there. Some of you just not too sure. Yes, I see a lot of ones coming up on Facebook. So, you know, tomorrow is Lame. And I mean, for us, you know, as soon as like we start to reach into this part of our malama, I love it because all the flowers are starting to bloom and you can go ohi ohi. Some say ohi ohi opala. You know, you go ohi ohi, all these pua all over, and then you get to make beautiful lei like we did in a vili style or kui. So yeah, plenty ekolus. So I hope I'm gonna ask the question, I think, again at the end and see if maybe it changes from oyapaha to maybe ai e hanalei kako. So yeah. So I'm gonna take us off share for just a few seconds here. And I'm gonna say aloha kako. I'm Malia Nobriga Olivera, and I'm tuning in from my one hanau here in Hanapepe, Kauai, in the Moku of Kona, in the ili of Ka'auaikahi. And yeah, that has been something I've learned only recently too, the name of the ili that I'm in. But yeah, just really happy to be joining all of you on behalf of Hawaii Nui Akea, the School of Hawaiian Knowledge at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, as well as on behalf of Kanaio Kana, which is really a network of Kula Hawaii. So all different types of Hawaiian schools, whether they're from the babies all the way up to kupuna, you know, because we're all still learning throughout our whole life. We're always learning different ha'avina. And yeah, we also, Kanaio Kana is also made up of organizations that are serving our kaiaulu, our community. And you know, our mission is really to, and our vision is to build Aloha Aina leaders. And so we're really excited. I'm gonna let my 2 friends who I feel are Aloha Aina leaders for our community, for our lahui. So let's see if I can unmute them, and I'm gonna ask them to say aloha and to do a quick ho'olauna.
Aloha kako, aloha mai. Welcome to the Ili Aina of Punalu'u in the Ahupua of Kaneohe in the Moku of Ko'olau Poko on the island of Oahu, of Wauno o Ānuenue Punua. And I'm going to have my daughter introduce her.
Punua.
I'm really excited to have you folks here today.
Awesome. Mahalo. So I know we got some beautiful pictures to share. Let me pull up our slides again and we can just proceed with our beautiful pictures.
Oh. All right. Mahalo. So today we're gonna just share two types of lei that we are familiar and we make often, and it's lei kui. So if you do have a lei needle at home, I brought mine. I have mine over here. It's a lei needle. It's all bust up. This is my mother's, so it's well used. Also yarn or kite string, and I'll talk a little bit about the difference in when you use yarn versus kite string for certain flowers, because everything's a little different. Every flower is different. And scissors. So it's really simple. And then you're going to need your whatever flower. But today we're going to do Pua Kenikeni, because in my yard we have all these Pua Kenikeni trees.
Wow.
There's 5 trees in this yard. And so that's what we're going to do today. We have many Pua to kui. Okay, and then the second, okay, move to the next slide, is haku. So I know that many of you folks tuned in to Mehana Vaughn's Lei-making on Tuesday, and she did vili, and she talked about the difference between vili and haku. So haku is actually you're gonna braid material together, and today Ko'iahi's gonna actually lead that, and she's gonna share. Actually, she's only used one material, and that's gonna be tea leaves. So I'm sure many of you have tea leaves in your yard, and if not, then I think you should plant some right now. You're gonna need 10 to 12 green tea leaves, and scissors is another really good one. And she added to this list is a positive na'au. Yeah, so a good. Make sure that you're feeling good and that you're well hydrated and that everything, because you do put your mana into the lei. So mahalo for that. Okay. So our ohana pilina to lei making and why we do what we do. So these two pictures really share my upbringing. So I am fortunate to live on the same aina that my father grew up on, and my grandmother, the Ohana Punua, and then my great-grandfather, who is John Punua, who was part of the Royal Hawaiian Band, and then he became a choral director up here at Kaneohe Congregational Church. So this aina has been in our family now 5 generations, which my 3 daughters are of that generation. So we live here, and growing up, the picture to the left where my mom and my older sister are holding lei, I'm trying to kind of rearrange. That is actually pakalana. So my mom used to make pakalana and Pua Kenikeni lei. So we had it growing a lot, and our pakalana needs to come back. So hopefully we can get that started again. But that's like my childhood, seeing my mom always having lei up in the, holding and fixing the leis to give people. My other picture is my graduation picture from high school. And as you can see, I'm like decked out with Pua Kenikeni. And that's just what I remember the most, and that's what we always had. So yeah. So I really want to say it's because of them. And, I'm a kumu, I'm a teacher. So teaching the next generation is the most important thing for me. So maybe in 2017 or 18, my oldest sister and I were able to purchase this property. And so now we are here with my daughters and my nephew. And so the pictures here are kind of funny because I have all my kids, smoking child labor, but they're picking flowers and they're on the ladder, which I was like, who took this picture? Because that's so unsafe. But they were, we were really, when we were able to to purchase the land finally and to know like this is our kuleana. The kuleana of these Pua Kenikeni trees were really kind of shouted back at us like, oh, we got to take care of all these trees. And so we started to make lei. And I share the story that Pua Kenikeni is not my favorite flower. Growing up, it really was I can't even really smell it because I think I grew up with that. And if you know Pua Kenikeni, it's really has a strong scent. In fact, I was trying to look for a picture of my mom because she developed kind of like asthma just from working with the lei for years. And toward the later parts of her making lei, she actually wore a mask. And I thought, wow, you know, it's kind of funny. We all wear masks anyway now. But she would have to wear like a surgical mask to sew her lei. And it became part of her tools. So yeah, next slide. Okay, so Pua Kenikeni shared a little bit about this flower. It's not native to Hawaii. In fact, it's an introduced plant for decorative and for the smell. I have to do my research. I think like Australia and some other places, that's where it's indigenous too. But I found, I know in Tahiti, they have another variety that's really big. It's a really big flower, but it looks the same. And I have two pictures. One is of a white flower. So when it first blooms, it'll be white, just like that. In fact, that one is like just a few hours. So you can see they're not curled over yet. And then the one to the right-hand side is the orange flowers. And that's not the full orange. So it's probably like 2 days old. And so we're gonna talk about that. So when you order Pua Kenikeni lei, sometimes people will say, I want an orange lei. And then I have to share with them that, you know, the blooming season. So just know that even though it's different color, it's the same tree, same flower. It just depending on when it blooms. Okay, next. So important tips about Pua Kenikeni. So this flower, it looks really hardy. It's pretty sturdy looking, but it's not. It's very sensitive to touch. And what I like to tell people is that you have to just be very gentle with it. So I often see people trying to take, you know, pick the flowers and they'll pull it and they'll try to yank it off of the tree. But if you, on the bottom, there's a green ball. Yeah, this green ball right here. Yeah, and if you just go down there, so you don't even have to touch the top of the flower like that. You just go, and then if you snap it, it'll snap like this. Book. So it's just you have to be very gentle. And what I have grown to know, I guess it's not it's very sensitive to real high heat. So like a lot of your moisture, or even like don't put it in the refrigerator, because what will happen is it's gonna turn brown. It's gonna just bruise, and then you'll be really sad. So yeah, that's how you pick it. Another part of maintenance of the tree is that the more you pick, it's kind of any plant, the more you pick, the more it'll grow. So you can see the middle picture is loaded with flowers. And that's what we experience around this time. And that's what we've been experiencing right now. It's just loads of flowers. But if you don't pick your flowers regularly, what will happen is that green ball that I showed you will stay on while the flower will fall off. And then it'll create those big green balls. And then if they're on there longer, it'll be orange. And you really don't want that because it affects the shape of the flower. It also affects the growth of it. Like it'll stunt the growth. So yeah, just be careful. So from every process, picking to taking care of your flowers. One thing is to put it in like an open tray. So I have like these trays, the food trays that we use. Yeah, for me, at Paina at parties, and I like it because you can kind of spread out your flowers and they're not all stacked up in a bucket. And I think that's about it. And then even when you sew, yeah, the least amount of handling, touching it, the better. And I'm gonna show you really quick. So I just wanted to show you guys. So this lei was made. So the flowers bloomed on Monday, and then I just made it and then I left it. If you just leave it under a damp towel, paper towel is the best, and you just leave it. So this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 days old. Yeah, but I didn't touch it. All I did was make sure that everything was damp. And the main thing too is that you keep it in a cool area. Keep it on top of your counter in your kitchen. So that's the orange one, the orange lace. Sorry, don't go too close because I can see all the blemishes. And this layer was made yesterday, and the flowers bloomed actually earlier that morning. So it's a little bit different. And so it's a different color. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the two different colors like that. Yeah. So we wanted to show you that. And so the flowers are gonna bloom again tonight. So then they'll be white. But the next other layer is another from yesterday. So same thing. They're off white. But if you just make it and you leave it under a damp paper towel, it shouldn't be soaking wet. Yeah, don't drench it too much. You just don't touch it. Your lei will stay really. It'll just keep turning color, and the more orange it is, the scent will be super strong. So if you are really sensitive to smell, maybe wear a white lei. That's what I like. White is my favorite, so I don't get sick. But okay, maybe we can move to the next slide so we can get to Ko'iaki.
Okay, as I bring it up, I was gonna ask. So you know how, like Mehana was sharing about when you have those kinds of lei that you put it in a plastic bag and then you put it in the refrigerator and you like to drench it in water. So that's not the same for Pua Kenikeni.
It's not. Well, everybody's a little different because I have seen when I go to the florist, sometimes you'll see them, and maybe it could be because the temperature of the florist refrigerators are not as high and or not as cold. I'm sorry, but for us and how my mom always did it, that was her rules. Like, do not put it in the refrigerator. We didn't even pack it in bags. So if you knew my mom, she would always be collecting soda boxes, and we would use soda boxes to pack them. And then you always so line the bottom with like damp paper towels. Then you put your lei down. Then you put another layer of damp paper towels. And then at home, what it's good is use your dish towels, or your wash towels, and make it damp, and just keep that over there. And then I just tell people, just keep it on the side where nobody's gonna touch it. Because again, once you touch your flowers, that's when they start to bruise, and then you'll have a brown lei. But I know plenty of people still love the scent. Okay, perfect. Lauki, lāʻī. So these pictures were taken this morning. Mahalo. I apologize to Hi'ile. I didn't do that one. She was talking about tea leaves the other day. She loves lāʻī with no yellow. But I wanted to show how beautiful that really is too. In that, so we have lāʻī, and if you guys have tea leaf or lāʻī in your yard, I'm sure that it's been there for a long time. We use it for protection. Like one of the things we do is, that's why you often will see it on the mauna. We would always see lāʻī, lei lāʻī. But it's a very important plant. It's a plant to carry with you. Often I'll make a kupe'e of some sort, just a braided tea leaf. And if we're going to a wahipana or maybe a place that I'm not familiar with, then carry that just to kind of what we say palekana, or keep protect. Because sometimes there's things there that like to go home with you, and so wear your lāʻī. But today, Ko'iahi's why we wanted to share this was because all you need today is lāʻī. Is a tea leaf. So lāʻī it's also a lau ki, which is lau is leaf and ki is the Hawaiianized of tea, and that's all. So the pictures here of the important tips are gather the green ones so that you have the green one. You can make it when you get fancy. You can add different colors of your leaves. But she started making this at Punua, and as part of their makahiki ceremony. So it's required of all of them at closing of makahiki to make their own lei po'o, their own lei and kupe'e, and it is. So I think when we talk about things that can go biodegradable, this is like the best plant ever and the best lei because you only need lāʻī. So, and here's a picture of my mom with lāʻī. It's so funny. That's the only picture I have with her prepping leaves. And I don't think she made lāʻī much, but that's the one picture we found. So yay! Thanks, Mom. Okay.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah, so that was perfect.
Okay. All right, so we can start, and I think what we'll do, I'll just start making a Pua Kenikeni just to kind of get us moving, and then Ko'iahi will show you a little bit of that after I'm done. And then while she starts, I'll show you my finished product. So for me, we use yarn, the off-white yarn, and I just measure. You don't want a really long lei, and sometimes you see real long leis because it's either for for the look and the aesthetic. But for musicians, yeah, it's a good thing for musicians. You don't want to give them a long lei because they also have instruments, and so a lot of times when the lei is too long, it gets bruised or it just gets manhandled by your guitar instrument, and a lot of times, poor thing, even I can see even as musicians, you get really kind of sad because your lei is in the way. So what I'm doing is I'm measuring it. So I measured it, and then I'm gonna go 4 times. Yeah, so that was number 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th you'll have a double loop like that. Now why we do this, and I know every family is different, so this is just our tradition, and I'm not taking anybody else's away but this is what my mom taught me, and this is how we're gonna do it. But she made the string like 4 kaula or 4 yarn because it helps to hold the flower together, the lei together. Because when you start making when you start making the lei, you'll see how big the whole of the front of the flower is. Okay, so here I'm gonna hold the yarn. Okay, and then I'm gonna bring some of my flowers here. Oh, I picked this morning.
As you're prepping that, I'll just tell all of our friends that are joining in. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat or in the Q&A. And there's a few people. How come Anake Primrose?
Oh, you know, that was the daily occurrence. Yeah. So for me, we just cut it. So you don't want to cut at the bottom. We don't cut too close to the green. We actually go halfway like that and snip. And we do straight. We just do a straight cut. Some people do diagonal, and that's okay too. But we used to do that, and then it just didn't always work for us. So one of the things to know too is when you're doing this, you're sorting it all out. So you can look at the shape of the flower and also the thickness of the bottom. So one thing to know is that if you pick it up too early, like when the flowers are white, so what will sometimes happen is they're not quite finished blooming, yeah. So everything's really tiny and really skinny. So when you start mixing flower colors or different days of the bloom, what will happen is that everything won't fit into place. So that's the main thing. You want to make sure that everything kind of goes into each other with no problem, so that over time, then it'll just be able to fall into place. Okay, so I'm just gonna make a few more. I'm gonna show you. So I have my little bucket so that I don't have little green balls rolling all over the place after. And this bucket is a bucket that my dad made for my mom that she would pick, and it's been well used. So my mom used to climb on the ladder and all kinds of things. So and till this day we use it, and it's like the best thing ever.
Awesome. I see a question about you can share how you get rid of the ants and those black bugs.
You know, it's funny. I was just thinking about that. I really haven't gotten there yet. My mom used to kind of douse the flowers in water, but again, you kind of risk it getting bruised. For me, and this is just me, and I like I said, I never grew up making this lei. I kind of didn't care for this lei until I got older. But so what I do is I pick my flowers and I make my lei. Like I try to make it as soon as possible because a lot of the bugs are on the middle, right? So if you make the lei and when you start putting it on the yarn, what happens is all of that stuff that they like to eat comes out. So eventually the bugs will go away. I do notice that sometimes if I pick it white and I put it in a tray like this and I do all the regular things that I normally do, when I take off the cloth or whatever, I can see all the bugs. Yeah, they move around and then but that's my eyes, and I realize like that's my anal retentive self that just like kind of handle seeing them, but that's apparently you can't really see it from a distance. So, but that's just how I think. If you make the lei as soon as you pick it or closer to the time, then you shouldn't have that big of a problem. Okay, so we're gonna start sewing. So like I was sharing with between the kite string and the yarn. So if you look at this, you can see the manai or the needle and that it's a really thick hook. So you can buy one of these lei needles at Ben Franklin. Sometimes Longs will have them too. So what I mean is like this is a thick one that can hold 4 pieces of yarn. Now, if you're gonna use Pua or Plumeria or other fine flowers, you're gonna need something a little bit more narrow, yeah. And the needle will be like you can hardly see it or the hook. Okay, so I'm just gonna start, and I have. So I try to look for the smaller ones first to put on my ends, and then I just go. And if you cut them the same way, everything will guide itself in. So one thing too, like I shared, is if you pick it on the same day from the same tree, the flowers will be uniform for the most part. You know, the word kilo, we hear that so often now. Mahalo to Papa Kumakawalu, and you know everybody does that because I've learned to kilo the different things about the flower. So if it's here in Kaneohe, we always have wind. It's always pretty breezy with our trade winds. And then if the rain comes and it's like starting to bloom, it affects the flower. The flower won't open all the way, and it kind of doesn't curl over like what we're used to seeing. And if it continues to rain or it gets really cold, then even more so they start to see. So that one's a little bit thick. Like this is thicker for this one. So I pick another flower. I'm gonna put it over there. And yeah, bring it down. Just go slow. And so I pull it out like that because then you can see the spaces in between like that one. And then I'll just go and toward the end, and I adjust everything together. But I'll continue on, and maybe any questions, or can move on to Ko'iahi because hers is a little bit more prep.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the lei needle because the one that you're showing us, like you said, has that larger loop, and I don't normally find that at Ben Franklin and other places. I thought maybe your mom must have made it.
So I think she actually bought it from Floridec. Yeah, Floridec in town in Honolulu we have. But I've seen these needles more often now. Maybe for knitting, I don't know. Like I said, I've only had to buy a few. I've only bought smaller needles. But yeah, no, my mom didn't make that. I don't know. I'll go check and see it. Maybe I can let you know. But I also at Long sometimes they'll have these needles. Maybe it's Kaneohe because we have Penny Pua Kenikeni. We're not the only Pua Kenikeni lei makers, so I know that for sure.
Yeah, Longs also like I said, Ben Franklin, and then I've seen it at Walmart too. They sell it near the sewing area.
Oh,
Yeah.
like the knitting, all the yarn.
Yeah. And so, yeah, some people are saying you can buy wire and make your own too.
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
my
can. Yeah. It is it's a big hook. So yeah, it would be easy to make. But yeah, this is well used. Can you tell? And I like the long ones. I like there are shorter lengths of needles, but I like the long one because then you can fill up your needle and then your lei is done very quickly. But, okay, we're gonna move on to yeah.
Okay.
I don't have to explain it. What am I saying? Okay, so she's gonna debone. I believe that's the first thing that she has to do.
So first you want to get your low key. And when I debone it, I see a lot of people using like knives or scissors or their teeth. I don't really like that. So you kind of want to get right above the middle of the low, and then you want to just snap, and you'll get that little cut. And then you want to just put your hand behind the low and kind of just glide your hand in back. So this is how I debone my low for like braiding. So this is how I prepared mine. I debone my low and then I put it in the freezer overnight. So this is before and then you half it. So this is before and this is after. Overnight in the freezer. And then this is the little coupe I made this morning.
Beautiful.
All lāʻī.
All lāʻī. And then here are the diamond tips or the little cuts of lāʻī that I use as the tips. And so you just cut the lāʻī. And then you want to kind of cut it at an angle.
So Ko'iahi, the one that you're deboning and stripping down the middle, that'll only be used for the braiding.
Yes. So I only debone the ones I'm gonna braid, and then the ones I use for my tips, I cut it off the bone of the sleeve. So for the halves, the ones that you're gonna be braiding, you're only gonna really need 3 full lāʻī for the braiding part. So then you'll have 6 pieces. So you're gonna have 6 nice long pieces like this. And when I make mine, I like to leave the stem on. I see a lot of people cutting them off, but I like to use the stem because this is what I braid for when I tie it. So first I grab my first 3 lāʻī and I make a little knot at the top. Like this. And then I use the stem and I kind of just braid it until I get to the end or I get to the low part.
This is gonna be the part where you tie the 2 ends together, yes?
Yeah.
How long do you have to put the leaves in the freezer for?
You can put it in overnight or you can put it in the microwave for like a minute. So when you get to like the end of the stem, and the starting of the actual low. Maybe you want to have like 2-3 inches just to tie it in the back. Then you want to get your diamond tips, and you kind of just want to scrunch the middle, just kind of pinch it. And then for me, I like to lay it down on top of the low, and I like to use 2 diamond tips because it's more full. So you put 2, and then you braid it over, and then you flip it up. Yeah. And then you just keep doing it and just keep braiding it in and flipping the tips up.
So Ko'iahi, the diamond tip sleeves, are those also put into the freezer, or are they shipped off of the lāʻī when you pick it?
You don't have to put them in the freezer. Sometimes it's easier because the low might be too crunchy, but I just prepped these last night and then I put them in the freezer. I mean the fridge.
Anake Kehel is saying that you can also put it in water.
Oh yeah, you can boil it too.
So did you learn this from your grandma or from your mom, or?
No, I kind of figured it out, and then when I went to Halau Kumana, we were all required to make this for makahiki for our adornments, and so I kind of got used to making this because we had to make it all the time, and I really like to make it because you only need one thing, and it's really easy to make, and it comes out super nice in the end. So yeah, I think the hardest part is just the diamond tips because that kind of takes a lot of time when you're just sitting down and cutting all of the tips.
So you're also trying to make them all the same thing, yes?
Yeah. So I seen some people when they cut the tips, some people have like templates where they put on top of the lāʻī and cut it, but I kind of just eyeball it. I kind of like when they're I like when they're the same size, but I kind of like when some are taller and some are shorter because it just looks really nice in the lathe.
Can you tell us a little bit about when you're done making it? What is the display? Is it similar to?
Sorry, you're kind of going in and out. Can you Hana hold that question?
Yeah, when you're done making the lei, how do you like to store it until you wear it?
I kind of just spray it down with a spray bottle and then I just roll it up and put it in a Ziploc, and you can put it in the fridge, but one time I actually made it and I put it in the freezer, and so I wore it, and then after I was done I put it back in the freezer and wore it for something else. So you can, after you're done making it, if you're not going to use it for a long time, you can also put it in the freezer and then take it out and it'll just stick on.
It's a little windy over here in Kaneohe. How's everybody doing with their lei? Anybody making any lei out there?
Anybody out there making a lei as well? Can you put a 1 in the chat or put a yes? If we have any lei being made right now, let us know. Or are you just, oh, yep, I see a 1 there. Kahu Kalahiki is making a lei. No, not right now. Hopefully you go outside later though. And
Yeah, you know, tomorrow is May Day. You have to wear a lei. That's my requirement for all my keiki tomorrow. I told them they have to make a lei.
that's great.
My keiki are like 4 years old. Yeah, so 4 and 5.
So I see a comment here that says, "Oh, I got no pua, no more thread, no more needle."
Oh.
I'm gonna ask, do you have tea leaf? Because tea leaf is, most people have tea leaf. And actually, like we were seeing on Tuesday, you can use bougainvillea, you can use ulu, you can use almost anything that's outside. And like I like what you said earlier, Ānuenue, about if you're gonna plant anything during this pandemic time, go plant some lāʻī. They're really easy to grow.
Totally. Yeah. You know, every year, right around this time, like right before Mother's Day and graduation, yeah, I always do a call out to anybody who lives on Oahu if they want lāʻī or tea leaf stalks to grow. I usually cut a whole bunch and then I tell them come my house or I can meet you somewhere, and then you know it just takes one really to grow, and then you can start to grow more. But for me, I mean, I know I love to buy lei. I love to buy lei that I cannot make, you know, which is the lei makers. Everybody has their specialty, and but you know, one thing that I do, I share this, and we share this a lot, is like there's nothing like a lei that comes from you. Yeah, and even though it could be something simple, like this is a little bit more involved because you have the diamond tips, but we all know and we've seen the lei lāʻī where you just hilo it together, yeah, and just a lei that's made from you is so much more special than, you know, maybe a lei that we buy. I mean, depending on what kind of lei you buy. Like I love pakalana and mikake. I can't make them, so you know. That's why we'll check get the pakalana going again. But I think that's a you know, I'll say this, that one of the hard things I would like to see us change is that in Hawaii we can grow anything, you know, pretty much you can grow all kinds of flowers, all kinds of ferns, and I love orchids. I love orchids, and there's so many different kinds of orchids. But when I get the purple orchid lei that I know comes out of a box that's been shipped here outside of Hawaii, I mean, I'm mahalo the thought, but at the same time, I really feel that we could do so much more. We could do so much better because it's and I know it's cheap. It's a cheap lei, right? You can get it at maybe, I don't know, $1 or 50 cents a lei, and the intention is good so that you have a lei. But even for me, if you give me one lei lāʻī and we know the significance of what that means, that's a lot more. Just holds a lot of meaning for me. But that's just something to think about, because especially during this pandemic, when I've seen so many people out in their yards, and if they're not growing food, they're planting, you know, maybe tea leaf, or I also have a lot of plumeria, yeah, Pua Melia, and that's easy to grow too. You just need to cut one of the stalk, then you can root it in a bucket of water, and it'll start to you'll see the the mu'o come off to the side, the little burst of things, and then all you gotta do is stick it into the ground. And if you don't have a yard, they grow well in planters. Yeah, even lāʻī does. So even if you live in an apartment and you say, "Oh, I cannot grow anything," I've seen lāʻī grow in pots. So you know you can do it. It's not impossible. And yeah, it's always good to have lāʻī in around your home. You know, it's so good because it also is what wraps our food. And I think that's the thing that right now we use a lot of Ziplocs because it's awesome. It's easy. It's simple. But how many Ziplocs do you throw inside the trash and then it goes back into the aina and it stays there for years? I try to be really, like Mehana was sharing about the puolo. So whenever Tutu would come to an event, it would always be beautifully wrapped in a puolo with lāʻī. And so we try to do that as much as possible, especially when Ko'iahi makes her lei po'o. Because it really is, it's the Hawaiian Ziploc. You know, and the best part of it is you put it back in the aina and it makes good compost for the lapo.
So we have a special request for Gonzo. If you can go a little up close to Ko'iahi, and we want to see it as she's adding the tips in.
Is that better? Can you see?
Yeah, no, that's good. I think people are wanting to see as you're adding again. So maybe for some of them joining, Ko'iahi, can you just tell us again what you're doing here?
Okay, so just get your diamond tip, and then when you braid, there's usually like one on the side and then two. So you want to lay your tip on top of the middle low. So I like to put two, and then you braid it over, and then you flip it up. Grab a little bit more.
So again, you're adding.
Yeah. So I grab two tips.
Yeah.
Two tips on top of the middle low. Then you're gonna braid it over and flip it up.
Is this the same method for making it with lawa'e instead of tili?
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes when I make lawa'e, I cut the bottom so they have tips too. Or sometimes I'll just cut it really short and then just put it in and not really flip it up.
I guess the benefit of the lawa'e, it already has a point, right?
Right.
That's the benefit of lawa'e. So with the lāʻī, you have to make that point by the way you cut it. So that picture of Ko'iahi that I had in the earlier part of the lāʻī, or the haku, I think, that was lei I made for her out of loa. It was a haku, and it was I think just lawa'e, but that was her Pūnana leo graduation. And you know, and then the other one I think in that picture is kukui, and that was actually made by her anake kainani, if they're out there. When we took a trip out to Ka'u, and I was listening to Mehana share on Tuesday about Tutu always saying, like, today is the first day of the rest of your life and you'll never see things the same. And I told Ko'iahi that we're laughing because it's so true, you know. Like, I don't know how many of you live out on the west side of Oahu and you're driving on the highway, like H1, or you're heading out to Waianae, and if you notice on the side of the road, there is a'ali'i growing. And it is so distracting for me because now we're seeing that they're starting to bloom here and there. But that's the thing, we have trained our eyes now to see different things, and we go, oh, look at the a'ali'i, oh, look at the ohia, oh, look at the kukui. And so that's really good, and I'm really blessed that Ko'iahi has the hands. So like the lei vili hands that I was telling Mehana that Tutu Amelia used to feel so sorry for me because I have a hard time making lei vili. I can haku a lot better than vili, and I have quite a few pictures with Tutu, and she's actually when Ko'iahi was little. So I think some of Tutu's magic brushed upon Ko'iahi, mahalo kia pua, because she has that gift of making beautiful lei po'o, and she enjoys it too, yeah, and she enjoys that whole prep and the process of doing it. But yeah.
I see another question here, and they're saying aloha from New Mexico.
Oh.
They say they want to celebrate May Day and make lei. Any suggestions for making some with artificial flowers for us over here?
I don't know. I haven't really made too much with that. I mean, again, we're really blessed, but I think Mexico has lāʻī. Yeah? I think you guys have tea leaf. I don't know what it's called over there, but I do remember going to California, like San Francisco, and we used to visit our friends over there, Kapita Ofichi folks, and we would go to the market to go actually get tea leaf or a type of leaf, and I think he said it was from Mexico. I don't know. But basically, you could do the same thing as long as you braid things. So if you have flowers that have some kind of a sturdy stem, maybe, I don't know. Malia, you couldn't even answer this question. I don't know. But you're braiding material into it, yeah. So as long as it's able to be stuck in that braid. People use raffia, you know, how. I like lāʻī because it's really hardy. And for my hands, like I need that kind of, my large motor skills, as we call them.
I'm wondering if you can, since I see you're getting to the end of your leaf, can you show us how you add to lengthen?
Yeah. Okay. So the way I add is I grab the tip and I kind of want to make it the same size as the tips that are pointing out, and then I just do the same thing. I put it on, and I like to add one diamond tip so it still stays full, and then just like a regular braid it over, and then flip the diamond tip up, and then it's all added in.
Another one. Yeah. Let's watch that again.
So again, you want to lay it on top of the middle low, this little one over here. And then I like to grab another one just to make it full. And you braid over and then you flip that one up. Can I have one more, Mom?
Yep.
So, your haumana says, or maybe this is Puna is saying, Makau o Alina me kana lei kawa e no kahalawai I ka la'a popo.
Mai ka'inoe, Alina. We should have brought her over with Daddy. That's gone. Mai ka'i. I invited them to tune in, but you know, this is their nap time. So I told them maybe they should still take their nap and then they can go watch the the recording.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, so these are the small little ones
today.
Those
are flowers that you picked today.
Yes, picked them up this morning. And it's not perfect, but you know, the wind too. The wind, it's been really off and on like this all day today, and so you know, you got to think about the flower. Like when I talk about it being so sensitive to touch, it's banging against the other leaves and the branches. So I'm glad it looks beautiful on that side because I see all my little blemishes. But yeah, so they're not all falling into place. But that's why I personally enjoy picking them right after, like the next morning after they bloom. Yeah, because the flowers are real nice and full. They're crisp and they're they're nice and white, so they're bright. Yeah. But yeah, this is my little
I heard you mention that you pick flowers in the morning and in the evenings.
So I pick them. So you can kind of gauge. You start to get used to how your trees bloom. And it's funny. I used to think about my mom because she would go out at nighttime and she would pluck, especially full moon. She'd pluck all the big leaves, and I'd be like, "What are you doing, Mom?" And she's like, "It's bringing more energy to the flowers, you know, and making the tree stronger." And I never quite understood that until now. And I plucked the leaves, and then I noticed that the growth of the tree is a lot healthier, like meaning the flower looks more you know, they're not as like this, like they're really odd shaped right now. And I think it's because of the wind and it's the weather. So if it's really rainy, cold, and then all of a sudden the sun comes out, it burns the flower. So it's that kind of that pua. You gotta get to know your trees and how it's cut. And so I like to, like I said, I'd rather pick it in the morning. Sometimes at night I'll pick them the night before, but you also gotta look if they're fully open, yeah, because if not, they'll all kind of have those pointy tips. And so it just makes for a different day. I had one of my neighbors down the street. He came and ordered a lei, and they just recently planted their tree, maybe 2 years. He's like, they're all burnt on the edges, and he goes, they look kind of cool. I said, yeah, but you gotta think you need 60 flowers or 50 flowers like that to all look the same, so you can make that uniform lei. So yeah, it comes with the territory. Yeah, you get to learn about your. And I think in this quarantine time, we're definitely learning about that.
Yeah, so we're gonna be coming to the end soon, and
Okay.
looking very beautiful, Ko'iahi.
Mahalo.
You wanna show the back?
Oh yeah, okay. So because you flipped it up, it's kind of gonna look like, what is that? A ladder. So like a little ladder on the back. And then
So the braid, yeah.
Yeah.
It's nicely braided.
so this is what it looks like when you braid it and then you flip up. And so yeah, I'm gonna finish it and then I'll.
Really end up your.
So this is how it looks so far.
Yay!
Yeah. And I'm just gonna.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about. I don't know. Any questions? Anybody have? Not really.
I see a lot of hearts showing up on Facebook, and Alia's sister is saying that lei is so beautiful.
Perfect. Exactly. Yeah, and it's not that, like I said, it's only one material. That's the awesome thing about it all. Okay, okay.
So how do you like to end your Pua Kenikeni? Do you have any special? No.
So I just tie a knot. I just double knot it. And let's see. Can you see that? Like that. And then I don't put ribbons on mine. Some people like to put fern, and so maybe one day I'll do that. But in our halau, a lot of times we don't like ribbon. Yeah, and also you gotta think about like when we for like ho'olava, like funerals or other parties, and when we dispose them, even if you're gonna put anything in the aina, remember the string that's in there. So I usually take my flowers off and put them in the yard. But yeah, this is all just like that. Here you go, Malia. If only our virtual lei.
Yeah, so any closing manao from the two of you before I bring up my slides?
So, mahalo nui for having us. It's been a pleasure to share a little bit about our ohana and the importance of lei. And we highly encourage all of you to make your own lei. I know tomorrow is a big day, and even though we might not be with each other physically with our friends and our family, I think when you put a lei on and you wear it, you'll definitely feel a lot better. Yeah. So once I put this on, there we go.
Yay! So
and I know tomorrow got the May Day concert. Yeah, the May Day concert on. So we will look at
sell lei.
We do. Yeah, we sell lei. Lei, that was one of the things we had so many orders, like for Mary Monarch or for other things. And then when we got the quarantine and we were told to stay home, it was so sad because the flowers were going off. So we do sell lei. If you know my number, you know me on Facebook, or you know Malia or Kanayo Kana, we can give you my email. And ours is $10 a lei. And we do all different kinds for any kind of occasions. And I also do like sometimes if we cannot make, then we can give you flowers so you can try and make it by yourself. Yeah, because it's a nice experience. It's a good thing to do. But mahalo.
Yes. Mahalo. Any Ko'iahi, any last words to share with any friends or say hi to anybody?
No.
She was telling me I have to talk for her. I said I can't. I don't make that late.
Well, all your aunties that are on, all the teas are saying, oh, we love all our keiki from baby time, and look at you now making with your mom. So they're all sharing along.
If we can do this, you can do this.
Polole.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, mahalo again, you guys, for sharing. I'm gonna bring up my last few slides here as we come to a close. And yeah, what a great way to come towards the end of our week, and we approach Lei Day tomorrow. Our first noi ha'a to all of you is to please go to kanayokana.net/survey and help us by answering just a few questions. It just takes a few minutes. It's an easy process, and you know, some of them are thumbs up, thumbs down kind of a question. And we just want to know if you like what we're doing and how we can serve you better. So just take a minute or two to do that for us. We would really appreciate it. We also invite you to come back. Tomorrow, we have a great lineup. In the morning, we're going to be starting with Uncle Kimo Alama Kiaulana that will be teaching us all about different lei songs and mele. We also have a Olelo Hawaii one coming up. And then in the afternoon, Ahakane has a great lineup of all kinds of practitioners and experts in their field. So we invite you to come back. The best way to find out our schedule is to go to kanayokana.net/lei. And again, mahalo nui loa ya olua e ka Ohana Punua. Mahalo to all of you that have been joining us here on Zoom and on Facebook. And you know, the best way to stay connected with us, both Kanayokana as well as Hawaii Nui Akea, is to follow us on Facebook as well as on Instagram. And you'll always get updates from us on all the exciting things happening in our communities and in our Kula Hawaii throughout our network. So aloha, aloha no.